Hey guys, and welcome to another ranked team game audio commentary. And in this audio commentary, it's going to be another Nomad 2 versus 2. Haven't had one of these in a little while. And in this game, I'm playing as the purple Saracens, and my ally is Soggy Socks, aka Croaker, playing as yellow Vietnamese. And in this match, we're playing against a blue Celts and a green Gujaras player. And before I get into the actual gameplay of the video, I just wanted to give a little bit of a background of mine and Croker's match history in Nomad 2 versus 2, and then I'll get on to the actual gameplay. If you want to skip to the gameplay, I'll pop a timestamp in the description of the video that you can jump to, but for now I'm just going to go ahead with the background, sort of how we've come to this match. So Croker and I have played, this is our 10th Nomad 2 versus 2 together in the past 12 months. And we actually had a 6-win streak at the start of our sort of 2 versus 2 Nomad history. And then in the last 3 games before this, we've actually lost 3 times in a row. And I think there's 2 reasons why we sort of hit that stage. One of those is that we've sort of run into the ELO range where we're getting, usually getting 2 1200 team game players, possibly even 1300s, and some of those players might even have 1300 or 1400 1 versus 1 rating as well. I recently just reached 1400 in 1v1 myself. I've only really played Nomad, Start, Hybrid and Water maps. The only really open land map that I've played is African Clearing, which is a Nomad Start map. But it's a lot different to regular Nomad, obviously. And then I've been floating between 1200 to 1320 team game elo for, I don't know, a year or so. Maybe I've dipped into the 1100s a little bit. I think when I started making videos, I was sort of in mid 1100s because I'd fallen down a little bit, and then I was working my way back up. So I've been sitting consistently in the 1200 team games for a few months at least. Whereas Soggy Socks is, he has been a 1k to 1.1k 1 versus 1 player on open land maps mostly. And his team game rating, he has got into 1200 before, but he's mostly sort of comfortable in the 1100 sort of team game area. Once he sort of starts getting up against opponents in the 1200 range, he starts to struggle a little bit. And I think that's where we've come to in Nomad, because a lot of the replays that I've posted have had multiple or at least one 1100 rated player, and this match actually has, so blue is I think 1200, he was 1200 and something when we played this game, and he was also 1300 and something 1v1, but the green player is an 1100 elo player, so that may give some insight as to how this game is going to unfold. But yeah, so that's one part. And the other thing is just how the games have played out. So a lot of the games, well, those 3 losses that we've had, the game has devolved into a 1 versus 1 between me and someone else, and then Croker and someone else. And there hasn't been much opportunity for us to sort of help each other. And 2v2 is going to be like that. You often get into a situation where you are basically just playing a 1 versus 1 with a friend in the same game. And then once someone loses, it usually is game over, because then that the other person is getting 2 versus 1. And that's what has ended up happening is in 2 of the games, Croker has lost his 1 versus 1. I might have been winning mine, but not as much as the other player was beating him. And then we had a game where he was winning and I was losing, and then he ended up losing as well because the player that was beating me was able to sort of help his friend beat Croker as well. But this game didn't work out that way, and that's what I wanted to commentate on. I wanted to sort of focus on the type of game that you can get in a Nomad 2 versus 2. So this is a little bit different to the other 2 games that I posted a few months ago. So now I'm going to unpause the game and I'm going to focus on the gameplay. So we've got a Vietnamese player, or we have Vietnamese on our team. So that means we're going to know where the enemy town center locations are once the once the town centers go up. Now this is one of the best bonuses on this map. It is so helpful, and what that means is, you know, based on the TC locations, you know the strategy, or it helps you decide the best strategy to go for. So I'm just going to quickly switch to my view lock. So I've got my dock down here. My dock is almost exactly. Oh no, Croaker hasn't gone to the water yet. And then I have been seen by one of Blue's villagers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a house there. And I'm going to place palisade walls on either side of my villager, just to protect my villager from getting walled in. So if Blue wants to wall in my villager, he's going to have to commit a lot more to palisade walls around the house. And that would mean it'll be more costly for him to do that, because it'll cost a lot more villager build time as well as a little bit of extra wood. So he's keeping a villager around there, so I was pretty sure that he was going to attempt to try and wall me in. So he is trying to do that. And I think, yeah, there we go. So he does manage to get a palisade in there to try and block me in. However, I was pretty confident that I can just delete my palisades on the right and I should be able to get out. So he's coming around this side to see if he can do another one. And he's done that one. Meanwhile, I'm queuing villagers onto wood, as I usually do, and I'm scouting around with my animals. So he's finished 2 palisades, but he needs to build more than that if he wants to wall me in. So yeah, that's not going to work. Like, my village is going to be able to escape unless he comes back and walls all the way around that palisade and the house. Like, if worst comes to worst, I can delete the house to escape, which isn't the worst thing in the world. So now I've got 4 on wood. I've got enough to make my first fishing ship. And now I'm going to bring in the boar, which is my optimal first action after making a fishing ship, and then build a house with my next 25 wood once the first fishing ship is made. And then, unfortunately, because my dock villager was delayed, I don't have enough food to make an extra villager after the first sort of, I think it's 4 or 5, so I have to queue up loom. That's okay. And then with the 4 on the boar and the shorefish villager and the fishing ship, I'm going to have enough food for constant villager production, and I can focus on collecting wood. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a look at the TC spots. So we know where, I'm just going to take the fog of war and the view lock off. So my ally Croaker, he is over here, and we have blue in between us, and then green is off on his own over here, and he's got quite a nice TC spot actually with close berries and close stone. I'm not exactly sure what's happened here with this berry bush. I doubt he's collected from that already. Possibly he has, but usually you'll get berry bushes spawning in groups of 6. If we have a bit of a look around the map. However, here there's only 2, so what's possibly happened is the wood line has like pasted itself over the top of what should have been the berry bushes here, and then for some reason there's only 2. I'd have to probably have a look at that when like the first second of the replay or something. So if we just have a quick look at the population, so with my Nomad start, which is pretty optimal, I go one of the starting villages to the dock to go to shore, to build a dock and then go to shorefish, and then the 2 villages build the TC. Then I put the first 4 villages from under the TC on wood, and then I go to bring in my animal, and then that allows me to get up fishing ships quite early. So I've got a fishing ship out, but we don't actually have, oh no, Croaker has one as well. So he's 1 population behind me, which is probably that his TC went up a bit later. But as you can see, green actually hasn't made, oh no, he has got a dock. So, but green and blue, they don't have fishing ships out yet. So that means that the way that they probably started, either their TCs went up a little bit later, or they just haven't done an optimal start to sort of get that first fishing ship out. So the main thing that's good about this is Blue's town centre is in between mine and Croaker's. So that means, because of the distance away from green, it can be good in the fact that we can both pressure Blue to get an advantage, but that means that if we excuse me, if we don't put any pressure on green, he could get a free boom. So, or he could come and he could come and cause us some problems, depending on how the game goes. So it really depends on the choice of strategy between the locations here. Now, Blue, I don't think that the other team is aware of where I am. So I'm just going to take the view lock off for a second, and I'm going to go to their point of view. So they know where my town centre is, because I think green had a villager maybe his dock villager walking past, and they don't know where my ally is yet, but now they know that there's an outpost there. So I think this is a good advantage at the moment because, yeah, they just don't know where both our locations are, but they have seen the outpost go up, so now that they'll be aware that Croker's over there. I'm just going to go back to my point of view. So now, I'll take the view lock off again. I'm bringing in my second boar. So I like to, it's good to try and get 3 to 4 boars. That's probably optimal. And over here, you can actually see that there's a fishing ship taking from my shorefish. So my dock must be right next to Blue's. And I think I looked at that while I was focusing on a different point of view. So I'm bringing in boar number 2. I've got some deer close to my TC as well. And I'm bringing out, I think it's my 3rd fishing ship. And then I've got a lot of villagers on wood. Now I'm going to build a house over there just to give me some vision on the other side of the trees. And then, yeah, I can see that there's a fishing ship there from Blue. So I know that he, here we go. So I think this villager was attempting to come and wall me in a bit more. Yeah, so he wasn't looking when he was doing that. And I actually managed to escape with the skin, by the skin of my teeth there and get out my villager out. So now I can see Blue's dock. And I know that he's over there, so I can actually go and move my fishing ships over to his close deep fish, and we can. What I'm doing is I'm trying to take food away from him. So if I let him take that, that means that he has less efficient fish later on. So that's the reason why I'm taking that one. I think I didn't actually have any fish left on mine. So I'm looking for another dock spot. I don't want to go too close. I just want to get a spot that's a bit further away from Blue, just in case he goes early fire ships, because I just want to have my food eco alive a bit longer. I'm going to be making a mill on the hunt because I can't, well, there is a berries, but I've decided to go onto that hunt at the north. And now I've found another dock location. I've just got to wait for the wood to come in. And then I've also found one of Green's fishing ships. I can see that there's a bit of a shit fight going on over between Blue and Yellow, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to take my point of view away for a second. So Croker is going to be distracting Blue from getting like a smooth game. So he's going to be Croker is quite a defensive player, so he's making like a line of house walls, but he's going to be putting a little bit of pressure on Blue. And that will give me the opportunity to harass him from the other side a bit later in the game. And that is a good thing because we didn't know this at the time. He's the higher rated player of their 2 players. And that means usually if the lower rated player is the one that has to try and carry, that's not going to be as good as if the higher rated player is the one that has to carry. So a bit of luck on our end that guy happened to be the better player. So putting more pressure on him is good. And then, as you can see, I've also spotted that there's a Blue house on the other side of that wall on that gold mine. So my concern there is that Blue's going to try and wall me out from that side of the hole in the trees, and I'm going to check that shortly just to see what's going on. I have got a little bit of vision from that house and my sheep going through, so I know that it's not walled off. But I am going to go and have a look and see what's going on. I'm just going to bring in that next boar, and then I'm going to move my fishing ships over to my new dock. And I have a bit of trouble with this boar, actually, because now I can see that Blue has taken my sheep, and there's palisade walls going up. So the problem here, so I'm attacking that village. I actually prevented that vill from walling off, completely walling that section off. So if I'm trying to de-aggro the boar here because I don't want to lose it. Tried the house trick, I screwed it up once, and then I managed to get the palisade trick to work. So I was able to de-aggro that boar, otherwise I would have lost that villager. And then I'm bringing this over so I can potentially harass that villager with 2. And now both these villagers are low, so I can't really use them to bring in that boar. So I'm going to have to send another one. I can't remember what I end up doing them over here. So I'm bringing all the villagers that were working on the hunt over to the trees. Now, one thing as the Saracens is that their market costs 75 wood, and they get 5%. Well, they only get 5% commodity trading fee at the market, which means you can basically trade resources at the market super efficiently, like no other civ can, from basically the start of feudal. So because I don't have a really good gold location near my TC, I've just decided I'm going to build a market and sell some wood to get up to Castle Age. So that's going to be more efficient than having to actually build farms and whatnot. If you look at my eco, I haven't collected any gold. I haven't got a gold mine up. I've only got the fishing ships, and I've got most of my villages on wood. And I'm going to sell the wood to buy the food, and I guess sell the wood to get the gold to click up. I'm going to bring in that boar now. However, I've kind of made it tricky for myself because I've sort of I've got a long wall on the left side, and luckily there is still a one-tile gap in that passage there that the blue villager didn't manage to get up because I attacked his villager and prevented him from doing it. I guess he could have forced it down, but he ended up running away with his build. So I brought in my third boar there, and because of the pressure that Croaker is putting on blue, as you can see, blue has decided to tower Croaker here. And there's a bit of a counter-tower war going on. He's having a very messy Dark Age. Like, he's come over to try, he's laying a couple of my deer. He's focused a lot on trying to do some damage to me and do some damage to Croaker, but I am Saracens, and that's not going to work. As you can see, I have the food now to go to Castle Age. I'm getting up my second building, and I'm clicking up. So I'm not going to have, I'll be up to Castle Age at like 19 something, which is like a mediocre time for a fast castle, but it is still better than what the other players are doing on the other team because they both had a very long Dark Age. The only player that's probably going to be somewhat matching me might be Green, but he's only just reached Feudal Age, so he's going to be at least a few minutes behind me. I'm not actually sure what strategy Green is going for. So here I am going to wall that section off with some houses, and then I have decided I'm going to do a castle drop. So I've made a stone mine, and I am going to drop a castle to range the town center of blue, who's completely distracted by my ally, and then we're going to take down his town center, and then that's going to put us in a really good position, I think, to win the game. And now my eco's a mess, but because I'm Saracens, I shouldn't have too much trouble balancing it. As you can see, like, I haven't gone to gold at all in this game. I have not made a gold mine. I've just gone on stone, and I've used the market. So that is one of the benefits of playing Saracens. I've gotten the double bit axe and the horse color upgrade. I'm having to resort to start making some farms, so I want to have some food economy. And that hill there is going to be a nice location for my castle drop. And I've made a couple of outposts to give me some vision. Now I'm going to be bringing in my dock villager inland as well. Blue is probably going to see the castle going up, and just to my luck, there's a wood line on the other side that I can use to wall off my castle position. Bang! So there we go. Putting the castle up, he's not going to have any chance to vil fight me, and that castle is going to go up, no problem. He's still in feudal age. He's busy fighting Croaker on the other side, and that means that he's going to lose his TC. And he's going to have a lot of trouble getting back into the game after this happening to him. So this is basically good luck for us, because we had Vietnamese. We're able to see where the enemy TC location was. One of the enemy's town center between both of our TC locations, and that player has chosen to commit to harassment of both of our, or attempts at harassment in both of our ecos, and as a result of that, he's really late to click up, and he's decided to run with all of his villagers. So Croaker has spotted that, and I'm going to make some military, I'm making a Mameluke to go and chase his villagers down. And I think I ended up making a couple of Mamelukes here. Just continuing on with my farming eco, getting town watch. The Mameluke got a little bit blocked there. I'm going to see if I can find where Blue's villagers have gone to. Now making a third dock to have more efficient fishing economy. I'm going to make a siege workshop and make a ram and take down his buildings in his base. Found a couple of sheep there as well. So I'm just looking around with my Mameluke to see where he's gone. See if I can try and find... there we go. I've spotted the villagers now. So I am going to start queuing up a couple more Mamelukes from the castle in a second to bring over here. And there we go. I've seen a bunch of blue villagers here taking the deer. So basically his whole economy is just here with all these animals hunting. And I'm just going to try and kill a couple of those villagers. I'm getting the forging upgrade so I could do a little bit more damage. Queuing up another Mameluke. However, I think I screwed up the the waypointing from the castle, and the other Mameluke never actually manages to arrive over to this location. It's actually just at the base of the castle. As you can see, it's attacking the mining camp there. So as I've looked away, the villagers are running into green's base, and now blue is up to castle age. So unfortunately I didn't kill his town centre before that came in. I'm just going to have another bit of a look around to see what's happening, and we have discovered that green has gone to water, which is fantastic. That's great. I don't really care too much about my fishing economy, and that because green has gone water, it means that he's going to have no presence on land, which is perfect because that's the issue at the moment. If he had gone like military on land, that could be a problem for us because my ally is not in a very good economic situation, being the only player still in feudal age. But because he's gone water, we don't really care too much about that because most of our eco, like fishing, has already paid itself off. Like, I'm in castle age. My ally, he's not in castle age, but you know, I've gotten everything I wanted to get out of my fish. It's helped me have a good castle time. It didn't get taken down at the start of feudal, so that's great. And now I don't really care too much about it. And yeah, when players go water, they don't tend to have any land presence, like land military. So they'll be late to adding military and even economy on land, which is great. So he's starting to add town centers in now. So my next concern might be he's Gajara, so he's going to be making stable units. So if he makes camels counter Mamelukes. So I can't really, I'm not 100% sure if I should commit to Mamelukes here, and I've decided I'm just going to go into some economy. I'm going to go and have a look around his base to see what he's doing. So you can tell he's walled out that area there, and I want to try and get around it if possible. These two Mamelukes, just grabbing in Bosaw. I've got 2 town centre villager production going. My economy is not, like, it's not terribly balanced. Like, I don't have enough villagers on farms yet to sustain 2 villager production. So I think because I've got a lot of villagers on gold, I can just buy the food back at a pretty decent cost, which I just did there. Bought 100 food, and I'm going to make some more farms. Now I've got enough. Sort of got enough on food. Actually, one less. So yeah, I'm buying more food again from the market to sustain my economy. I just need to, I think I've got 12 farms, which is just enough. And I found the Gajara's mill, which is going to have all of his garrison sheep. So I can probably take that out with my, because I don't think blue and green have got any land military at the moment. Blue, I think, just made a castle. So he could make some road raiders potentially, but yeah, they're not going to really have anything. So I've got a lot of time now to just focus on my economy and get some map control and work towards Imperial Age. So just concentrating on throwing down farms. And my ram is taking out Blue's buildings one by one, taking out his market and taking out his blacksmith. He's going to have to rebuild these. That mill is going to be ungarrisoned shortly. And the Gajara player is going to have a bit less food income. So yeah, got a lot of map control at the moment. So I think there was 6 or 7 sheep in there. So I'm going to try and send some of those away. I probably should have sent them to the shore, but I've clicked them through the gap in the trees, and I actually think the Gajara player ends up recovering a lot of those. So there you can go. Blues recovered a couple there. I could have even just killed them with my Mamelukes. Not the best play there from me. I should have thought a little bit smarter about that. But I'm not too worried about our position in the game at the moment because I'm sort of feeling pretty confident about how we're going on land. Just queuing up wheelbarrow now. I've got the gold mining upgrade. Got a lot of villages on stone. So I'm going to make another castle. And I'm going to have a nice castle position. Unfortunately, a bit sloppy there with my Mamelukes. I should have put them on stand ground and they've walked into one of Blue's town centres. But yeah, that's okay. So I'm going to have an aggressive castle up on the Gajara player for a bit more map control. And Croker has reached castle age. So I can't remember how long ago we got there. Sometime in the mid 20 minutes. And there we go. There's a camel out from green. So now I know I need to make some camels. His camels are slightly better than mine, I think, in castle age possibly. Maybe roughly even. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I've got a stable up. I'm going to make those camels. And I've decided Croker's got some crossbows out, which is good. And he was worried about Shrivampsha riders. Camels counter Shrivampsha riders. Unfortunately, I've had to go for a slightly less aggressive castle because of the presence of the camels, just until I get my cavalry numbers up. Starting to float quite a lot of wood as I'm sort of focusing on other things at the moment, so not the smoothest economy. I think I just sold a bit there at the market to balance my eco. And I'm going to wall off that area as well, just so that no Shrivampsha riders can run through. You can just see them to the right of screen. And now I'm looking towards Imperial Age. I've got quite good resources, I've got quite a good gold bank. My food, I'm up to 35 on food, got a lot more farms now. And yeah, Imperial Age is only moments away, or the Imperial Age click anyway. I'm just getting my camels in position. Blue's going for another castle. However, I'm not too far off Imperial Age, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to go in for a few villager kills. He's not going to, like, as you can see, he's only on 1800 score, so he doesn't have much economy here. So I'm not worried about this. He's going to get it up. I don't really have enough units to stop it, but I'm going to be able to put some pressure on anyway. He's at least forced to garrison his villas, and he's got a Shrivampsha rider out. Here you can see there's a few more. However, I have camels and Mamelukes which counter Shrivampsha riders, so I'm not worried about these at all, and I'm going to flatten them in this fight. It's just allowing, he's only doing this, he's throwing his units away to allow Blue some time to get the castle up. But again, I'm not worried about that. That's no problem. So I'm just going to move my stable units away, going to put some more stone walls up just to make it a bit more difficult, because my economy is completely open. So green could stream Shrivampsha riders through to raid my eco. So that's why I'm sort of putting up all these outposts and putting down the walls just to make it a lot more difficult for him to be able to do that. Make another ram as well, getting in some armor, getting the stone mining upgrade. Go. There's another house, and this outpost spots Blue's villagers making a run for it again to try and get some access to mineral resources. So I'm like, right, okay, just spotted that. Grab my stable units, and I'm going to move down, and because he doesn't know that I've seen him, he's got no idea. And there you can, my other outpost to the south has actually spotted the location. Sorry, my house that I made with my dock villager spotted the location of where he's trying to make his gold mining, his gold camp. So he's going to have a nasty surprise in a little bit yeah, here we go. So got a few units going over there. Oh dear. It is not Blue's game today. I see a couple more villagers making a run for it to the north. Follow them with that Mameluke. And Imperial Age is just about to come in for me. I'm going to start making some trebuchets from that forward castle. So I'm just going to quickly, so there's Blue's resigned, so I'm just going to have a look at what Croker's doing. So he has got his own castle here on the hill. He's coming forward, making university. He's got a nice massive crossbows there, only with fletching, but he's also putting pressure on green. And as you can see, green doesn't really have much. He's got a couple town centres. He's got a lot of fish over here. Very inefficient though. Actually, it's not too bad, I guess. But yeah. Looking at the economy numbers, I'm at 94, Croker's at 66, and yeah, because of the damage that we've done to Blue's only on 47, and green, the 1100 player just hasn't really been able to get his economy going this game. Let's have a look at his resources. He's floating a lot of res, so he's not spending it. Maybe he's given up already. That's one of the problems that I've noticed with a lot of 1100 players is they float a lot of resources. As you can see, I think the game. Did the game just end? No, that's not me. Yeah, so I have got like a healthy count of resources, and I am making stuff. I'm just waiting for Imperial to come in to make some trebuchets, but I'm not floating like... I have got 1,000 wood, granted, but I don't float as many resources as some players do. Imperial Age comes in, and I think green resigns. Yeah, there we go. So green's resigned. So yeah, that was that game. It was for me, it was a very smooth game. You know, I had an easy, fast castle into a castle drop on one player, and that's kind of how 2 versus 2 goes sometimes. Sometimes you get into a 1 versus 1 against one player, but sometimes if you get a bit lucky, you're able to put a little bit of pressure on one player with 2 people early on, or like one person, you know, hamstrings him a bit while the other person comes in for the castle drop or the siege push or something like that. It's also very helpful if you if the other player is going water and is unable to help their ally on land. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this replay. I know it wasn't probably the best replay, but we haven't had too many sort of games recently that are worth commentating. But this one, I just kind of wanted to point out the fact that because of the town center locations and having Vietnamese, I guess, that helped us get the win, and we were able to choose the correct strategy based on the situation. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you look forward to the next one.